All right, guys, we've talked about the LSU offense versus the Clemson defense. We've talked about the Clemson offense versus the LSU defense. We've talked about all the matchups and all the things that you could possibly think of that are going to go into winning or losing this game. But the time comes where you got to list some keys to the game, right? You got to talk about if LSU wins, what? What does it look like? If Clemson wins, what does it look like? Jordan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Clemson, if they win this football game, I think it's pretty straightforward. You won the line of scrimmage on both sides. I mean, you had, um, but I think offensively, I think you had a balanced attack. You were able to hit explosive plays. LSU's defense isn't what I think it'll be at the end of the season, in week one, and you put up enough points despite LSU's athleticism and what the significant challenges that they bring. I think you'll be in a better spot, and I think that's how you put up points. And obviously, I think it helps a ton if Adam Randall is really productive on the ground. I mean, I do think he presents a lot of different challenges, with his unique body type and build at running back. So if Clemson wins this game, I think the offensive line generates enough push in the run game, and maybe LSU starts to have to cheat guys up closer to the line of scrimmage. You hit big plays. Kind of the keys and what every offensive coordinator probably ideally wants in a game. I think that's how the game plays out if Clemson wins. And defensively, I think you win your matchups. You force LSU to be one-dimensional up front, and force Garrett Nussmeier, as good as he is, to have to pass them back into into points. And I think it's a lot easier to call defense when you don't really have to respect their run game. So if Clemson wins the game, I think that's what it looks like. I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It's obviously it's about the offensive and defensive lines, right? It's the line of scrimmage. That's where this game is going to be won, regardless of what side you're on. But turning the page to LSU, Jordan, LSU wins the game. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, for LSU, they win the game. I think they run the football. I think that's the biggest thing. I think if LSU can run the football in this game, if you told me after the game, and I didn't I didn't watch it, and I was in a coma or something, and I wake up and LSU has, I don't know, 140, 150 rushing yards.
Yep.
I'd probably guess they won the football game. Just being honest.
Yeah.
I don't think they need to have like a dominant rushing performance and rush for like 200 plus. But if they're productive on the ground, I think that spells trouble for you.
Absolutely.
I think that spells a lot of trouble for you, because now
I agree.
The one matchup that you felt like you should win up front, you don't. Now I think everything's off the table, or on the table, as far as result, when you get to that point. And Garrett Nussmeier, he's an extremely talented quarterback. He makes NFL throws every game. When you watch his tape, so you compound that. That's bad, and that's where you get a scenario where LSU puts up 30, 35 plus in this game, and we're asking the same questions we were last year about this defense.
Yep.
That's the reality. And then on the other side of the ball, the offensive line doesn't hold up. I think that's the biggest thing. LSU gets a ton of pressure, and the secondary doesn't have to, because they're getting a ton of pressure. The secondary doesn't have as much pressure to play as well, and you lose I think that's what that looks like. And obviously there's in betweens on both sides of the ball as far as that result, and that's where you get, and that's kind of what I expect. I think something in between, but I think that is the ideal game script for LSU, and they win that if they're going to win that football game.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Like I said before, it starts on the line of scrimmage. I think key for one of the keys for Clemson's defense for me, if they win, is that safety play, right? And limiting those explosive plays from those LSU wide receivers, not getting your eyes caught in the wrong place, not letting wide receivers get behind you. Those explosive plays can be backbreaking, right? And Garrett Nussmeier can make all those throws. That's one of the keys for me. And then another key for me for Clemson on the offensive side of the ball is their running game. Like Clemson has to establish a running game in this. They have to come out and prove that they can out physical that LSU front seven, which is a tall task, like we said before. But they have to establish that, and they got to keep K. Klubnik clean in the pocket, right? He's going to be pressured. They're going to get to him from time to time. Hopefully, he escapes the pocket, but not each and every play, down in and down out, right? Keep him clean. And I think that's how Clemson wins that game. And then, the reverse. You kind of hit the points for LSU. So that's kind of our view of the game and how we see it going if either team won.